Okay guys, this coil, coils are very important now because if you get it wrong you could do a lot of damage. I'm getting bleeding from one side of the diodes to the other, and it's completing a circuit and it's arcing the battery. So before you put any coils on, you see that this is the trigger and the power. So this coil is gone now, and it's to do with this coil. Somewhere in that coil is a short circuit, so that's buggered. So I've taken it apart. Also here I've put the copper plate back. This is the collecting plate, the aluminium plate. I've put all these back on there. The issue here is I'm getting continuity through these diodes. From that side to that side is jumping. If I put the meter on here now, it's not going to jump because there are no transistors on it. I think it's the transistors that are doing it. These transistors have a heat sink in them, and when I had them on there and they were loose like that on this aluminium plate, and I was touching them like that because they were loose, I was getting an arc just there. Now it could be that transistors with their own heat sinks connected up to this made an issue. I don't know, but what I was getting is when I was connecting these, right, and there was a jump. So before you put these and connect them up to your battery, disconnect your battery, check that there is no continuity between that and there's a jump, because it will blow up your batteries or do some kind of damage or whatever. So always check with the battery when you go and try and connect it that it's not arcing. If it's not arcing, you're okay here. This is my issue. To solve that, what I did was, on this collecting plate, I cut out the bit that this bolt was connecting to this, so there was no connection between this aluminium plate and this copper plate, which then for some reason gave it a continuance, and it came back, and so this was jumping across the diodes, which short-circuited the battery. So be very careful when you put these coils on and you connect them up. Disconnect your batteries and just touch up the battery leads and make sure there's no arcing, then you'll be okay. I think the issue is that heatsink plate, that heatsink on the transistor, and that aluminium plate. When I had them on there and they weren't connected, screwed down, and I was doing that, there was an arc here, which means that that's where the short was. This backing plate on the transistor, this heatsink on the transistor, and that is where the issue is. I solved it by, there is nothing, see, I've cut it out, so there's nothing going through connecting that screw to this side, and that solved my problem. I don't know if you're going to have issues with it, but be very careful. This coil can do a lot of damage, so do not connect your batteries until you test each one out. Check continuity, that the trigger and the power are not shorting in there. Then check across there. If you're not getting that issue, then when you put your amp meter on and switch on, if you get a high amp reading before you turn the wheel, then you'll know it's one of the transistors. So good luck with it, guys, but be careful.